Today's podcast is being sponsored and presented by MCJ's Art Studio because we are in right now in the studio. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to talk about something that recently happened and present to you a real life situation when it comes to these, let me not call them the real descriptive word that I actually want to give to them, but more so, let's just call them what they really are, which are basically vanity galleries. All right. Now, the first question that I'm going to ask you, even before starting this whole case study, is why would a vanity gallery call itself an art gallery and not a vanity gallery? That's a question that I want you to already think about. Because for art galleries who are actually vanity galleries, it is quite interesting that they don't just call themselves vanity galleries, which they are. Case study will show itself. All right. So not too long ago, I posted this on my threads and basically just saying to the people like, listen, artists, we need to wake up. We need to wake up to the fact that there are still many art galleries who are presenting themselves to be not that, but a vanity gallery and will use you. They will use you as being the client. You're the product, babes. They're not here to support you or to further your career. No, babes, you are the product. And they are what? Selling you hope. They're selling you hope. They are banking on the fact that you are willing to do anything and everything to make it, because most artists, well, let me be careful with that. There is a considerable group of artists that is willing to do whatever it takes to be part of a select group that is being represented by an art gallery. Let's go beyond common sense. Let's go into excellent sense to study something and say, this might not be the favorable step for me, and I have to be mindful for when these particular parties pop up, show themselves, and present themselves to be, quote unquote, art galleries. So I placed that on the threads. Like, yo, y'all need to wake up, because this is not the way to do it. Y'all need to wake up because these people want your money. You are the product. You are it. But just to give a description of it, they are there for the vanity of it. They're not there to progress your career. They're not there to progress your talent. They are not there to support your talent. They are there to be a platform where they can get your money and you can get a chance to showcase your work in a physical or in a digital manner. Is that wrong? Isn't that just business? Absolutely correct. It is business. It is. And it happens many times. I mean, look at art fairs. Look at art markets. Those are also places where people can have a temporary platform where they can showcase their art, right? But there is a but. Why? Remember the question that I asked in the beginning. I'm going to repeat it again. Why doesn't a vanity gallery present itself as a vanity gallery? Why does it present itself as an art gallery? Because the answer to that will already show you that there is something wrong about this particular construct. The purpose of an art gallery, what most art galleries should have as a purpose, and that's not to say that each and every single art gallery works that way, of course, but the purpose of an art gallery should be to have a conducive agreement, relationship between the art gallery and between an artist, so that the artist gets the opportunity, of course, to develop themselves, to be stimulated, and to really work on a body of work within their art practice. And the art gallery being the intermediary where they take administrative, promotion, marketing out of the hands of the artist, and they take it over so that the artist can focus on what they are best at, and the art gallery is investing into promoting an artist for the group of collectors that they have. It should not be that one is more well off than the other. One is not the subordinate, one is not inferior, the other one should not be superior. All right? This is not a case where somebody needs to submit to someone else in order to get what it is that they would like to have. If that type of relationship is there, then yes, that can still be an art gallery, but it's not a good one. I would advise you to look at what it is that you are then handling. Where are you, babes? Is this really what you want? But then again, people get to choose. Everybody has a choice. You have options. Make a good one in this particular case. So yeah, that second question that I just asked, it is a relevant question in this particular case, because here's the difference, right, between Vanity fairs and art market, art fairs, and such and the like. And that is that you are stepping into a very clear construction of a transaction. I pay a fee to be part of a fair or art market in order for me to sell, promote, and advertise my work. Does an art gallery do that? No. And definitely not a vanity art gallery. They have like a covert form of being basically an art fair, an art market. They have a covert form. They're not overt with what it actually is that they want from you. They covert about what it is that they want from you. Not too long ago, responded to an open call. And, from time to time, I like to do these things just to see if, things have changed, like doing those things. Because in general, it is quite clear what really an open call is and which are just not open calls. These are just people scouting for clients, for customers. And the artists are the customers. They are the clients, basically. All right. So I joined in. Now, for legal purposes and, just sensible purposes, I've blurred their name because, to be quite honest, they haven't done me any wrong. But just to demonstrate to you what could go wrong had I maybe just stepped into it blindly without doing any research, I do have to censor their name. Because they can simply say, hey, you're putting us in a bad daylight and you need to take this video down, which, basically they are right. So I'm just going to blur their name. And it's not really that important who they are in this particular case. What I find more important is that you learn how to look at these particular cases, right? At these particular open calls. So I posted some of my work. I said, well, here's some of my work. I would like to see who you really are. What is it that you have to offer? And I got a response here. The response was positive. Oh, we would like to know more about you. Here's our email address. The first red flag that I already saw is the fact that them posting a Gmail address is something that makes me cringe. And it should make you cringe as well. Okay, that's red flag number one. Any business that is showing you a Gmail account is not really a business. Any business will invest into having a business email address. It's just a standard of doing business. So I was like, I already know what this is, but let's continue, because I was like, this could be a great moment for me to take that as a case study for the podcast. So secondly, I sent them an email this week and they responded very promptly to it, which for me is not a red flag, but it's an orange flag. Another thing that I find interesting is this all happened outside of business hours. That's a red flag. That's a red flag, people. I was up pretty late. And, if you are listening to the podcast, you're not going to see it. But when you watch it at the print screen here, I'm just going to show the time that I sent the email. And, the following up question that came, we would like to see your portfolio. I sent the portfolio through a Gmail link. It was a PDF file. They got the PDF file. And promptly after that, they responded with their feedback really fast. And their follow-up question was, well, what is it that you foresee for yourself as an artist? What is the biggest problem or issue that you think that you have? Which I find very interesting. You as an art gallery are asking me what I believe is the biggest problem. And for most art galleries, they know that the biggest problem for any artist is getting to a market where there are viable art collectors, art buyers, but also having a party on your side that is willing to support and help you develop yourself as an artist, right? Two of the most common things. So for most art galleries, they know that these are two things that they have high on their list. If an artist is not capable of meeting these two things, they will not even bother to approach you, because they don't believe that they are the right party to do that. They have to believe in the artist to see, well, hey, we really believe in this artist. We see a upward slope, and we definitely believe that we have the collectors that are really interested in this particular art, and we can guide them. If they don't believe that, they won't invest and divest into that. They just won't. Quote unquote art gallery, vanity galleries will not have that time span. They want to work fast. They want to work fast. They want to work quickly. Very much so. It is comparable to what you would see with people who have a tendency to scam. Who do. I'm not calling them scammers, but for any scammer, it is important that they can work quickly. Not too much time to think, because we want you to make a decision quickly, now. But the thing that I still found very interesting was the signature of the email. The signature of the email was quite professional. And what I also found very professional was, initially I saw a Gmail account, and then in the email I saw a professional account. However, so I looked at that and I was like, okay, that's another orange flag. I have seen this before. There are still too many red flags, not enough green flags. I went to the website, because they have a website. I go to the website and it looks pretty professionally done. I went to the terms, and I also went to the conditions that they had. So terms and conditions.
There were many things in the terms and conditions that I found very alarming. Now, I'm going to pick 3 of them that I want you to have a close look at. If you're listening to the podcast, I'm going to read a couple of the sentences so that you can have an idea of where you need to look for when it comes to any of these particular contracts. By the way, just in general, do read the contracts, because basically when you sign it, you do not have any rebuttal. There's no way that you can go against it if you have not taken the time to fully read the terms and understand them. All right? So here's one of them, and it's the payment terms. They are talking about fees. Now, what I found very interesting is that nowhere on the website has it been mentioned what particular fees are being asked of the client, which is you, the artist. And of course, they state the client agrees to pay the service fee as outlined in the payment schedule provided during the onboarding process. All fees must be paid in advance as agreed by both parties. So that means that there are several moments, several periods in time where you have to pay a specific fee. So here's another term that I found also very interesting to look at, and that is about the commission fee. They have a term, it begins with commissions. A 10% commission fee is due to blank on any sale exceeding $5,000 that results directly from an introduction by blank. So if they introduce you to any of their clients, their art collectors, and your artwork exceeds the amount of $5,000, they have the right to take 10% of that. So that would be $500 or higher. Sales under $5,000 are not subject to a commission fee. Okay, it would sound logical, but here comes the next sentence. The commission applies to all sales that are either directly or indirectly related to an introduction by blank, including sales occurring within 6 months of the introduction. So which one is it? Is the artist, or also here mentioned as the client, obliged to pay a 10% commission fee on any sales exceeding $5,000 that are directly due to introduction? And do they also have to pay a commission over all sales that are directly or indirectly introduced by blank? I'm kind of confused here. Which one is it? And when you read terms that are confusing, that is a red flag, people. There's a huge red flag. Let's go to term number 2, the second term. The thing that I was questioning myself is, with whom or with what am I doing business. So in their term, they explain who they are. Blank operates as an independent contractor, basically just as an entrepreneur, a sole proprietorship. Nothing in this agreement shall be construed to create a partnership, joint venture, or employment relationship between the client and blank. The company is solely responsible for the manner in which it performs the services, and the client is not entitled to direct or control blank's operation. When you sign this agreement with these people or this person, you are paying the fees for them to, I don't know, what is it, intermediate or end or sell your work. It's kind of weird. It doesn't really state what it will do for you, other than that it will have an independent contractor, that it is an independent contractor, and that's it, people. That's the show. Not really clear. Unfortunately, another red flag. So there was another particular term that I also found very sketchy. And there was another one, many. However, I find this one also to be the one that really was waving a huge red flag. I mean, it is undeniable that this one is just making you go like, wait a minute, what type of construction is going on right here? So on the website, they mention number 14, artwork contribution. And I want you to listen very carefully. And if you need to go to my page on YouTube, if you need to read it, because I'm also posting these in the video so you can pause them and read them. Here it goes. As part of our relationship, blank requires that the client provide one signed original artwork for inclusion in blank's private collection. Excuse me, your private collection, but you are a contractor, an independent contractor. So I am providing my original work for your own private collection. Let me continue. The artwork must be an official, authentic work created by client and not a reproduction or work that does not reflect the client's primary artistic practice. Timeline for submission. The client agrees to provide this artwork within 90 days of the execution of this agreement or upon request of blank. If, for any reason, the artwork is not delivered within this time frame, the client grants blank the right to claim ownership of one of the client's artwork at blank's discretion to fulfill this requirement. Such artwork may be selected from the client's existing collection of artworks. So if you do not comply to send off one of your original works to this independent contractor within 90 days, they have the right to go and look into your collection and claim it to be theirs. Let me continue. The last part. Ownership of usage. Once the artwork is received or ownership is claimed, blank shall hold exclusive ownership of the piece. So that means that they are the only ones that can have it. Exclusive ownership means they are the only one that own that piece, which may be used or displayed at the company's discretion. The display or use of this artwork in any capacity, including exhibitions or marketing materials, will require the client's prior written consent. However, ownership of the artwork shall remain with blank. This provision is a mandatory condition of this agreement, meaning you cannot have an agreement with them or her or him if you do not agree to this particular term. The term about the artwork contribution. Let me continue. This provision is a mandatory condition of this agreement. The client may, however, negotiate an alternative arrangement if desired, but any such arrangement must be agreed upon in writing. Now, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I already found the other two terms quite sketchy, but this one it blows my mind. That is crazy. That sounds just crazy to me. I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. Now, here is the last, but also very vital part of their website that I find ambiguous, very questionable. If you are going to use client responses, so-called social proof, customer proof, then please do it in a way that it is believable. On the website, there are a number of artists being showcased, and none of the artists are being showcased with a last name. Now, mind you, an artist can choose to be anonymous or say, well, I only want to provide my first name because I don't want to be bothered with any questions or that I am part of your company. That very well could be. If I were to give the benefit of the doubt, which I actually don't, I don't, that could probably be the reason. But, and however, taking one of those reviews of a client. So remember, the client is the artist. The artist, you become the client. The name of this particular client is Matthias. Lives in the United Kingdom, is a sculptor. Partnering with blank was a real turning point for me. I've had my fair share of success in the UK, the US, and even Asia. But getting my work in front of the right collectors was always the toughest bit. It felt like a constant uphill battle. But these guys, they understood the art world inside out. So that already tells me it is multiple people that are doing this. Okay. Let's continue with the review. Their approach was direct, thoughtful, and tailored to my needs. After a year, my sales shot up and I was landing commissions I had never even dreamed of. They didn't just give me exposure, they placed my work exactly where it needed to be. A huge thanks to them. This experience has made all the difference. Okay, sounds very positive, doesn't it? It sounds absolutely like a dream. I think any artist who is looking for proof of other artists, of how they would be, what they could expect, then this would be like a positive experience. This would get you going, right? Oh, this is great. This is something that I would like to do. But I like to be critical. Yes, I like to be a pain in the butt with these things. So when you look further on the website, on the same page, if you scroll down, then you read what it is that they have done. They use this as a case study for people that could be their collector base or maybe their clients. And I'm very positive that this website is set up for their clients. Again, the artists, you. So they talk further about this particular case where they mention building lasting relationships, the impact of blank on one artist's career. And they talk about Matthias from the United Kingdom. And they describe it, client, a renowned sculptor seeking global exposure. And this is the thing that I found very interesting. The service is called Legacy Strategic Elite Access. So that might be one of their tiers that they have. Duration, 12 months. Investment, legacy tire, $18,000. $18,000, people. $18,000. Tailored especially for industry-leading artists seeking elite opportunities. Collector contacts, and they even mention the number of contacts that they have for you. 156. Approximately 3 connections per week. Now, they explain further on this page, and I took a little piece of it, but it's significantly well explained of what they will do for you. So I want to advise you just to go to the video if you want to read about it, and you can read it in detail. But what they basically just explain here is that they have a very detailed profile of their art collector, and they know how to basically, through data-driven precision and strategic positioning, put any artist in front of their desired customer. And in this case, it happened after a year. It sounds believable. It's not too far-fetched when it comes to the time limit that they're taking on it, because they don't want to give you the idea that you can have it instantly, right? You have to wait a little. It has to be 1 year. And after a year, you will see results. I see that in most of the reviews that they have. But it's all very packed with buzzwords. It's all very much packed with the perfect situation that can happen and has happened for an artist. And what I also found very interesting, of course, is the amount, the fee, a legacy tier that says 18,000 Zulas, and is tailored especially for industry leading artists seeking elite opportunities. How would you know? How would you know? How would you know what type of artist he is and what he exactly is looking for? Maybe through the questions, right? Remember the email that I've placed in the beginning of the video where they are asking me, well, what is it that you're looking for? And then when I would answer what it is that I'm looking for, they have the perfect surface, and it would be an X amount of dollars or euros. It's kind of like, they just have the perfect hook for their bait. And we are it. We as artists are it. Look for the red flags. All right. Don't look for what looks good. Don't look for the things that sound really great. Do the same thing that I'm doing. I'm very skeptic about this because this sounds too good to be true. The funny thing is, many people will be like, yeah, I would say the same thing. But you will be surprised how many people fall into this trap. You will be surprised how many people have given their money to people. It is not possible. Not in this particular way. It's not possible. It's just not. What I want to draw your attention to is take a good look. Be skeptical. Be critical. Right? When you see those open calls, this is what it looks like. This is something that they do. They want to bank on the fact that you have a fear of missing out. Be mindful, people. You have been warned. All right? You have been warned.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Please do subscribe and follow and share the content that you find over here. I would love it for you to be part of this platform. If you want to see more behind the scene footage of MCJ's Art Studio, go to the Patreon. There we'll be posting more behind the scene footage for you to see. All right? Blessings. See y'all next time. All right? And pay attention. Wake up. All right? Wake up. See y'all next time, people. Bye, y'all.